How is it going, everyone? It's Johnny Beard here with a new podcast. This is Streamer Tears, where we talk to previous guests on Streamer Stories podcast. But we're going to have a twist this time. We're going to talk about tier lists, basically. And I thought the best person to start off with is a great friend of mine, someone I absolutely love and respect very, very dearly. I've got Synyster Graves here. How you doing, sir?
Hello, mate. It's good. It's absolutely wonderful to be back. And, well, first of all, congratulations on the success of Streamer Stories.
Oh,
I've just got to say that straight up. It's so insightful, and for what it does for the community is absolutely astounding, mate.
That's okay. Thank you. See, it's crazy thing. We're 7 seasons in, man, and you were like one of the first ever guests. It's been 3 years.
Number 4. I was number 4.
Episode 4. Everyone check out Synyster Graves' episode. It was great. I mean, yeah, it's been nearly 3 years. How are you? You okay? How are things?
Yeah, the landscape of content creation changed a little bit for me because I just, if I'm perfectly honest, fell out of love with Twitch.
Yeah.
And it started feeling like a job, and I felt pressurized to perform and be at that high level because, I don't know, stream-wise I was always at quite a high level of energy. And as we kind of came out of lockdown and work started becoming like the work we remember, it was very tiring. At the time I had a 2-year-old at the time, going on 3, and it was just that is crazy
in itself, isn't it?
It is absolutely mad. And it's just I took the decision that to prioritize my actual career, which isn't a bad career, and fatherhood was more important. But I kept YouTube up, and YouTube for me just became the hobby that I wanted it to be. I got to explore my passions with YouTube, and I found the balance in YouTube a lot better, and that's how I've managed to kind of continue. And I think I've remained very consistent since in the last 4 years. So
it's so good to see that. Honestly, everyone check out Synyster Graves on YouTube. Great content, retro content. Basically long play videos, isn't it? Of some of yesteryear's best games.
Yeah.
Or some not so good games, I suppose, as well.
I've really got into kind of what I call old school FPS.
Yeah.
So I mean, at the current time of recording, BioShock 2 is I'm doing the series of that at the moment. When Warhammer did the bolt gun game, because I love Warhammer. Again, that's a weird thing I totally forgot I really liked.
Yeah. I
did that. I mean, the Fallout series on Amazon was so good. I got back into Fallout 4 and 3. And then the weekends I've just do the ones that I really enjoy, which is, I do a lot of Pokemon videos with my friend Vimmers, and Tekken, which is, I thought would be quite a nice segue. I try to do my god runs in Tekken. Tekken 8 at the moment.
Beautiful segue. Because what are we going to talk about today, Sid? What are we going to talk about today in Streamer Tears? The first ever.
Shall I get my props?
Yes,
props?
The props are back.
Well, we mentioned Tekken. So I've got Tekken 1, PlayStation 2. Tekken 2 on PlayStation... Sorry, Tekken 2 on PlayStation 1. We'll mention that in a minute. Tekken Tag Tournament, which was, I think Tekken Tag Tournament was like one of the release titles for the PlayStation 2 back in 2001. And I remember I had a friend at school who got a rich kid, got a PlayStation 2 like on early release.
Yeah.
And I remember he had it in his kitchen of all places, and I was looking at it going, this is what Tekken looks like. And then Tekken 4 come out, and that was pants in my opinion.
Agreed.
What's Tekken 5? Oh, Tekken 5, which is one of my favourites.
Yes.
But when you asked me about a tier list, we both like retro. We both love Tekken. This probably of the old school was the best Tekken, which is Tekken 3.
Yeah.
And I love 3, so with your permission,
I genuinely think it is my take, but I genuinely think in terms of on release, it's the best Tekken game. Like I think it's personally on release the best fighting game ever made, but that's just me. I love that game.
It was ahead of its time.
Yeah.
But the thing was, it wasn't just a fighting game. If you look at like Street Fighter back then, it was literally play arcade, complete arcade, or you could fight your mate. That was it.
Yeah.
You could do that in Tekken 3, but you had Tekken Ball, and you had Tekken Force.
Yeah.
And for all of us who are crying out for a sequel to Streets of Rage 3, we didn't have a sequel to Streets of Rage 3 until 22 years later.
Yeah, it's so true. Yeah.
And you're like, huh? Yes, I mean, I know there's lots of other scrolling fighters, and even on the Nintendo Switch now, there's a lot of stuff that make it look like the 16-bit scrolling fighters, like Final Vendetta or Raging Justice. But it just wasn't Streets of Rage. I mean,
No.
if you ask me, Streets of Rage 4 wasn't really that much of a Streets of Rage in places.
Yeah.
But Tekken Force gave us a 3D. I mean, you'll probably say to me, "Do you remember Fighting Force from PlayStation 1?"
I never played it, but I always wanted to because it was basically the only proper equivalent, really, wasn't it?
It was a 3D kind of Streets of Rage style thing.
Yeah.
And the thing I remember, my cousin had it, and there's in one scene you can go in an elevator and you can rip the hand railing off and use it as a weapon. I was like, and now, unfortunately, because that's the only thing I saw, I thought you could literally use anything as a weapon, but no, that's the only thing you could.
No.
Sort of picking up a and throwing it at someone. But, yeah. But no, I digress. Tekken Force was, while it was repetitive because you had to do it to get one of the unlocks.
Yeah.
It was weird because it was, when you engage with an enemy, it became like a Tekken 1v1 fight, but then you get surrounded. I mean, the whole Tekken Force dynamic, I mean, they really brought it back, well, kind of in Tekken 5 for Devil Within, but Tekken 6 had the scenario mode.
Yes.
Which was as close as we've had to Tekken Force. But that was online co-op, if you remember, on 360.
Yeah, goodness me. Yeah. Goodness. But yeah, I still haven't forgiven you, actually, Sin. We're good friends, but I haven't just mentioned this yet. I haven't forgiven you for the torture you put me through when I was doing my Shuffler challenge, and you told me I had to beat Tekken Force mode. So, to unlock Dr. Boskonovich. So, thanks for that. Yeah, cheers.
You said you needed all the characters. There's only one way to get Boskonovich.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, as I completely didn't think about it when I put that polyp, and I thought, shit. He's right. I've got to beat.
I only speak the truth. I'm sorry.
You too. Yeah.
I've done it enough times.
I didn't technically beat Tekken 3. If you don't know how far I got, I beat the game with the main roster, but not the side characters. They're unlockables.
Yeah.
I thought, right, I've got all the characters now. I'll come back to that, and then I tried to do Tekken Force mode, and I beat it once, but I couldn't beat it a second or a third time.
It's a grind. If you try and literally get the bronze, silver, and gold keys in one sitting, that is a grind. At that point. That is, well, that's like completing Streets of Rage 4. It's an absolute grind. It's too long.
Yes. Okay, so Tekken 3 characters we're going for today on this tier list. I can't wait for this. This is going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait for your hot takes. So what I'm going to do is I'll bring the first character up, and I'll plop them into the OK. By the way, for those who are watching this on YouTube, the not so good category is called chicken. I know you can't see it on the screen, which is amazing. I can't wait to do this. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So the first character,
Hayabusa does that all the time, every single time. Even if it's a picture of me eating a KFC, he'll go chicken.
It's so good.
That's how indelible it is on our culture.
I want them to put it in Streets of Rage.
Because we all go on about the botulism you get for eating a chicken out of a bin.
Yeah. So, a phone box chicken. Oh, my favourite.
Yeah, I love apples.
Yes.
In phone boxes. They're delicious.
Okay, so the first character into OK tier for now, before we discuss them any further, is Ling Xiaoyu. I
love Xiaoyu. Slight bias here. Man of Chinese heritage here. Suddenly likes Ling Xiaoyu. I've got this whole thing called what I call a kung fu waifu.
Yes.
And she is now. Xiaoyu's a bit of a weird, is a funny one because she's always been quite a solid character.
Yeah.
But really in 7 she kind of came into her 4. 8 they've made a weird way of programming her in 8, which I have adapted to now. But her best version was 3. And I think she's a really solid character. People didn't tend to like her because she was very evasive.
Mm-hmm.
I remember she had the flips, run over. She was
parries,
actually and she was at her best when she had her back towards you, which we all know. The most vulnerable you are in Tekken is when your back is towards someone because you can't defend. But she had that launch kick, and it was the trade-off was worth it for her turning around just to get that launch.
Yeah, love that launch kick.
But I mean, she is a bit of a glass cannon. She doesn't do a lot of damage, and she takes an absolute beating. But I think she's a very good character. She's she's not a beginner, what I call a beginner character at all.
No, I completely agree. Like I don't think it's bad to say. Like, we had a small chat before we pressed record about like the type of characters you go for. I tend to go for the opposite, so I tend to go for the kind of the bigger characters and stuff like that, like Brian and Paul and stuff like that. Which I can't wait for us to talk about Paul in a bit. Anyway, keep it quiet, keep it quiet. But yeah, if there was one character of that kind of the smaller kind of feminine or female characters, Ling Xiaoyu was the one for me. Loved Ling Xiaoyu. And it took me a while to finally appreciate it. And I always had some great memories. I used to be, in terms of my friend circles playing Tekken 3, I used to be one of the better people. But I had this good friend of mine, his name was Bradley. I wonder what he's doing nowadays. Anyway, he was like a Ling Xiaoyu main, and he would kick my ass. And it gave me such a great appreciation for her.
She's little and often with Xiaoyu. She'll chip. She's a real chipper. She'll chip away at your health. She won't be she's not one of the big hit ones. She does have some big hits, but they're few and far between. She is all about frustrating someone. Yeah. Sidestepping, hitting them from behind, and just chipping away. Yeah. So for me, I think when played properly, she's a deadly weapon. Yep. Under the guise of something beautiful.
So what we're going with then? King of Iron Fist is the S tier. Great is the A tier.
I would put her in great because I think the thing that stops her being top tier is the fact is she's a glass cannon.
Yeah. By the way, this is your tier list, by the way. We haven't talked about that. I'm not going to go, I disagree. I'm putting her in chicken, by the way. I'm not doing that. This is your tier list. But yeah.
I'm big enough to put in chicken, but yeah.
No, but I think I'm totally down for that. I'm totally down for that. I think she is a great character, that's for sure.
I'm just trying to remember how it goes along next. I think I know who's next.
I don't think you can see this, can you? So yeah, you go on and have a guess.
Is it Yoshimitsu?
Yes, you're spot on. Yeah, well done.
I just had this image of the start of the screen when you select your character. Yeah. I'm pretty sure Yoshimitsu was next.
Yeah, he certainly is. So
let's talk about the Cyber Samurai, yeah?
Oh, aye.
Best version of Yoshimitsu was 3.
Yeah, I agree.
This was the best version of Yoshimitsu. He had a sword. I mean, come on. He belongs in Soul Calibur. And it took him until Soul Calibur 4 before Namco thought, hang on a minute. Yeah. They put Heihachi in Soul Calibur before they put Yoshimitsu. Yeah. And I was like, what?
Oh,
but
man.
The thing with Yoshi, if you look at every single Tekken since then, his outfit has changed so drastically.
Yeah.
One minute he looks like Spinal from Killer Instinct. He's like some skeleton with a wheel on his back. And next thing you know, he's like some space squid.
Yes.
And you're like, what are they doing with him? And half the fun is trying to work out what are they doing with Yoshimitsu. I mean, if you look at Tekken 8 Yoshimitsu, he looks like the Tekken 3 Yoshimitsu.
Okay.
Whereas he had like this sort of Raiden hat in Tekken 2. Yeah, when he had like the wildly rotating the cybernetic hand, which spun around with his sword. That's how he does the sword spin thing. But again, I think very, very, very solid character. Very easy to frustrate people with the Yoshimitsu. When you think of his like flea move or his helicopter move or backspace square. The slowest wind up, and people thought they could block it, and the health just goes bye.
Yeah. And he can heal himself. I think isn't he the only character, or certainly Tekken 3, the only character that can heal himself?
Yes.
Yeah, I can't speak for other Tekkens.
Yeah. Jun Kazama can now heal herself in Tekken 8, but there's very specific scenarios she can do that in. That she's got to go into heat mode, and there's certain moves that restore her health. But there is recoverable health in Tekken 8. I mean, right, this is the thing. Tekken 7 and 8 had the rage mode, or the thing I absolutely hate, which I always called the pussy button. I don't like pressing a button and you unleash a 30% damage combo. Yeah. There's no skill in it. I mean, at least with a Street Fighter Super or King of Fighters Super, it took an input. This is just press left bumper. And I disagree with it. Tekken 3 was pure. Tekken didn't need a super. It didn't need you building up a load of stacks like Mortal Kombat 11's Fatal Blow, and it didn't need it.
Yeah.
And it still doesn't need it, if you ask me.
Yeah, I agree.
So, I mean, with that in mind, Yoshimitsu to pull that sword out and do 75% damage almost with one attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the best way of losing friends.
Yeah.
Best way. And I think Yoshimitsu, in general, it's nice to see that they recognise it, and in Tekken 8, he's finally back up to where he belongs in the same level of playability he was in Tekken 3.
Right. Excellent.
Because he was so good in Tekken 3. So good.
Yeah. So where are we going? Where are we putting him then? Is he gonna?
Is he top tier though?
Mm-hmm.
He's close. Is he? Yeah. You know what?
Yeah?
Yes.
King of Fine Fist.
Because Yoshimitsu is also unpredictable, and that is one of the strongest weapons you can wield in Tekken.
Yeah. I think I would put him in the great, but hey, this is your list.
Yeah. Because of I've seen some really good Yoshimitsu players in the hands of a master. Yoshimitsu is,
I can imagine, yeah,
so to play as, but to watch. He's a good character to watch someone streaming.
Yes.
Playing.
Yeah.
But he's not. I don't think he's too much sweat. He's almost goofy when he does all these spinny moves and stuff like that. He's almost like a borderline a joke character.
Yeah.
Who actually masquerades the fact that he's actually quite a good character.
I mean, his story as well is great, isn't it? Like, he's basically like the robotic Robin Hood, isn't he? Yeah.
The Manji clan is absolutely bonkers. Yeah, that his body was rebuilt by Dr. Boskonovich.
Yeah, which we won't talk about yet.
I'll wait for him, yeah.
Okay.
Right, who's next?
Go on, have a go. Nina? Oh, you're so good, man. You're so good. Nina Williams, yeah.
Nina Williams.
Our Irish friend who doesn't sound Irish.
the not Irish person ever. They always market her as Irish, but she's not. She's really. Well, look, Nina's the only Tekken character to have a spin-off.
Yes, she is. Yeah.
Which is one of the weirdest scrolling fighting games ever, because you do the fighting using the analog stick.
Oh, right.
Press the direction. A bit like the Jet Li game on PlayStation 2. Okay. Very similar to that.
Oh, I never did play it.
Yeah. Nina is a funny one. I didn't like her until recent Tekkens. I found her I mean, she's kind of that hybrid between a kicking character and a grappler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, it's taken me a long time to get an appreciation of grapplers. I get grapplers a lot more now, but Nina didn't quite cut it for me.
Yeah.
I don't think she's a bad character, but she's tricky. She takes a long time to get that kind of mastery, just to get any kind of flow with. I personally find her very staccato-y to play. She doesn't flow as well as you would associate with a normal fast flowing combo-y female character.
Yeah.
Nina doesn't seem to play that way. She tends to be big hits that aren't big hits, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And people find themselves very, very dependent on that blonde bombshell kind of double hit she does. People just become very sort of dependent on that, when her chain throws are her true strength. But grappling was very difficult in Tekken 3, I found.
Yeah.
It didn't come to me to play as Nina doing the grapple game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for me that held her back. I think what Namco did in later ones, they did make her a lot jugglier, a lot kickier. Like, she is so juggling Tekken 8. I mean, she was in 7. They've made it even more fluid in 8. And I think that version of Nina is a lot easier to pick up than the original. I mean, there's going to be some hardcore Nina players out there who would say Nina was, she was GOAT in Tekken 3. And, I don't disagree with that if that's your opinion. For me, I struggled with her. It was my honest opinion.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. I could never quite vibe with both Williams sisters, to be honest with you. But Nina, we'll talk about Anna in a bit, obviously. But, I think you got a spot on, mate. I completely agree with you. I was never really comfortable. I've never been comfortable playing as Nina. No. Really, she is an awkward hybrid, like you said, and doesn't do either really well. I don't think so. Therefore, you kind of have to just again juggle with the two variations of that, the grappling and the kicking and stuff. So yeah.
She cancels herself out, which is a shame, because I think in modern Tekkens, Nina she would be right up there. But in the realm of Tekken 3, middle order at absolute best.
Yeah, so we're going good, okay, or first chicken.
I'm going to put her as okay, And again, this will upset people. I'm going to put her as okay, but that's my experience with Nina. I was never good with Nina, so my logic is I'd put her as okay. I think again, in the hands of a master, I'm sure she's very good, but no, she's too niche to pick up for me.
Yeah, I agree with that. I completely agree with that. Yeah, totally. Brilliant. All right.
I'm 3 for 3 so far. The pressure's on now. Krang.
No.
Ah, it had to come to an end. The run had to come to an end.
So we got Law.
Ah, yes. Bruce Lee himself. Well, this was Forest Law.
It was Forest Law, yeah. We didn't have Forest Law back for a while, did we?
We haven't really. Forest Law's only come back in the tag tournament arc.
Right, yeah.
Which isn't really canon, but is it just a smorgasbord of Tekken characters to have fun with and have tag fights with?
Right, yeah.
So what can I say about Forest Law? Well, he's Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
And he's Bruce Lee in every aspect of it. Just the way he looks, the way he moves, the way he sounds. And he is absolutely amazing in 3.
Mm-hmm.
He is so good. I know his little sort of somersaults get spammed to hell with.
Yep.
But my God, his 1-inch punch. He's got his combos are good. He has a really strong low ground game.
Yeah.
Now that was something which I think was starting to come into fruition a lot more in the 3D fighters come around Tekken 3. Was a good solid ground game.
Yeah.
We'll come on to the king of ground game later on. But Law had a Law was strong in every aspect that he was. I didn't find him to have much weakness. And he was very frustrating to play against, but very satisfying to play as.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Though the guy had everything in his arsenal for me. Martial Law in subsequent Tekkens, not so much. Made into a bit of a joke character, unfortunately. But I think Forest Law was something else in Tekken 3. He was so good to play. I absolutely loved Law. And Law was, unsurprisingly, one of the characters I just gravitated towards straight away.
No, I'm the same. Like, I do agree. I do think Forest Law and Tekken. I think we're just using the surname Law for general argument's sake across the Tekken series. I do think it's the best version of Law. Is Forest Law from Tekken 3. They never did quite get the other Law to be the same. I don't know why. It's weird. I do. Both Laws are in Tekken Tag as well too, aren't they?
Yeah.
And did they play slightly differently? I think. Oh, I can't remember.
Ever so slightly differently, but there wasn't a lot in it, and I think it was interesting that they decided to basically take up a roster slot each with the father and a son.
Mm-hmm.
Which I always found a bit bizarre, like with Bayek and Hrang. They're essentially the same character.
Yeah.
So, but no, for me, Forest Law was, if there was one person, if they were to play Tekken for the first time, and they said, "Who should I pick? I don't know what I'm doing. Who should I pick?" You'd tell them Law.
Mm.
And he's an Iron Fist.
Yep.
All day, every day.
Yeah.
All day, every day. There is no debate there. Forest Law is, for me, if you were to put them in order, he's top of the pile.
Right. Wow. Fantastic. I mean, I agree
in terms
with
of playability, he's not my favourite, but I think he's top of the pile.
Yeah. Love it. Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. Okay, then. So you guessed this person previously.
Oh, then it's Hrang, is it?
Yep. You were so close.
Yeah. I don't know. It's burned into my retina. That character select screen is burned into my retina. Hrang, what do we say about Hrang? Hrang is hugely popular, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Hugely. It's weird because in Tekken 2, Bayek, as an unlockable character even, wasn't hugely popular.
No.
I don't think anyone really took to it. But Hrang brought Taekwondo into the household.
Yes.
I think a lot of people, you heard of Taekwondo, but as soon as Hrang come out, and he, again, so easy to play as, so fluid. Combos weren't as free-flowing as they are now back then, but you could combo with Hrang very easily.
Too easily.
Almost too easily. I mean, it's one of those ones. I mean, I don't know if you got it on your Twitch, Johnny, that you got. People say disable an action for 5 minutes.
Oh no, I don't. But go on.
So there's a lad I know who is I sort of know through a friend who was streaming Tekken 8, and he's got a disable an action. And I said, "You're not allowed." He goes, he was maining Hrang, and he was getting a bit boastful. He was getting a bit boastful about how good he was. So I disabled kicks. Go on then. If you're that good as Hrang, punch them.
Yeah, go on then. Yeah. Oh no.
No one punches and grapples as Hrang. And I just thought it was funny. That's me just being a little punk, basically. Yeah. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's a sort of like the instant someone gets cocky, the desire to kind of bring them back to earth increases. And we know Huang is very, very kick intensive. He's a taekwondo fighter, of course he is.
Yeah.
But if you were to basically just be a 2-button wonder on Tekken 3, you could beat the game with Huang just using X and O.
Yeah.
Very easily.
Yeah.
I mean, that's no disrespect to Huang, because it's the combination and the timing. Is it? You can't just go and mash the buttons and hope for the best.
Yeah.
But it's, Huang was such a good character. He turned what was basically the paradigm of Bayek into a worldie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as a result, even many years later, he is proven to be one of the most popular characters that people will still go for in Tekken.
He was my first main. Huarang was my first main for those reasons. I loved his white tracksuit outfit thing. And you were spot on about Taekwondo. Like, I didn't have again, I live in North Wales. There's not many options to do any martial arts here, but like there was always karate if there was anything, right? But I was like, no, I wanted Taekwondo, and it was like, good luck type of thing. But that was what I wanted to do because of Huarang. Because I just loved his kicks, I loved his style, I thought he was so cool. I always wanted to be Huarang. Instead I started to finally experiment a bit better with other characters. So he was my first main.
He had cool hair as well.
Yeah.
He had really, really cool hair. He had a motorbike.
Yeah.
He was just cool.
He's just,
I mean, with the exception of Kim Kufan in the Real Bout Fatal Fury King of Fighters thing, name another Taekwondo fighter outside of Huang and Bayek.
Yeah.
Exactly. Huang is the top of the Taekwondo pile in all fighting games.
Yeah. 100%.
And still is. And he's stayed at the top for up until now, even still.
Yeah. So where's he going?
He's an Iron Fist. He has to be.
Iron Fist?
He has to be. Because of not just because of the character that he was, the impact that he made.
Yeah.
He took a relatively unused DLC character and turned him into a fan favourite.
Yeah, completely. Like, that's one thing I love about Tekken 3. I know we're going to taking a small segue, but all those unlockable characters from Tekken 2 and a little bit of Tekken 1, like they weren't really well rounded, were they? And Tekken 3 really just put this huge upgrade on all of them. You know, I know we'll get to some in a bit, but yeah, Huarang from Bike is just a great example of that.
Yeah.
Okay. Where are you going?
Jin Kazama.
No.
I'm losing it now.
Do you want to say, or do you want another guess?
Paul Phoenix?
No.
No,
I'm Eddie Gordo.
I thought Eddie was far on the right.
Yeah,
in my head, Eddie was far right.
Yeah, you know what? I vaguely remember Jin being towards the middle.
Jin was in the middle. Eddie was to the far right. Have we got Mandela?
Hang on a minute. Maybe there's two. Hang on. Maybe there's the there's two versions, isn't there? You got like the arcade mode selection screen, and you got the one with the ones across. There's two versions of it actually. Now that I think about it,
I swear, PlayStation 1, Eddie was far right. I swear. I mean,
I had a quick Google on the picture. So, okay.
Yeah. So Eddie Gordo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to bring Tiger into this, by the way, or because they have got both characters?
Yeah, Tiger and Eddie, were palette swaps because you had to press triangle to get Tiger Jackson, didn't you?
I'll check.
So
Tiger.
I would consider them the same character.
Cool. Okay, I've got them both
because there wasn't any differentiation apart from an afro.
And the ending, which I love, by the way.
Yeah, it's just Earth, Wind, and Fire. The Tiger's ending, wasn't it? It was just Tiger was basically Eddie Gordo if he was in the Commodores. That's basically that's basically it. So what do we say about Eddie? Eddie gets a very bad rep, and I think it's unfair because everyone goes, "Oh, he's cheesy," because when you talk about a low game, if you want a character who really made you realise if you keep attacking low, you will annoy people.
Yeah.
Because they don't, you can crouch and block.
Yeah.
Well, that's a fundamental in any fighting game. If you don't realise you can crouch block, then who's the fool?
Yeah.
Eddie exploited the people who seem to think that the only blocks were standing.
Yeah.
And yes, you could argue that again. Same as, he's another one. If you saw someone streaming it, you ban kicks and see how well you get on with Eddie.
Oh, yeah, big time.
So, again, love to see that. Again, doesn't have very good punching game, kick game, unbelievable. And, of course, he was the first DLC character for Tekken 8, who came in the spring. And he is almost far too easy to use in it.
Too
you
easy,
can
I'm sure.
literally You can literally pull off a 7-hit combo in Tekken 8 just by pressing A on Xbox. Someone,
no.
here's a little fun factoid with Eddie Gordo, is someone actually programmed a macro to play, just basically go through ranked as Eddie Gordo by just pressing A on intervals, and it got up to warrior rank in ranked. And all it was a bot going A.
That is mental.
But I mean, that kind of people were highlighting. So I mean, that's the reason I probably haven't done a Tekken God video on Eddie, because people go, "You're just pressing A."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm like, no. Modern Eddie Gordo, there's a bit more finesse to it. They kind of stop people basically alternating between X and O and him doing that kind of dancing capoeira spin. I still think there was a lot more to Eddie than just basically hammering between the two kick buttons. I think he's a very good character, but if you basically only prioritize low hits, you become very predictable very easily.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's the peril of repetition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think the reputation he gets is unfair, because again, he's mainly for people who are maybe new to the game. Is he a nightmare to fight against? Yes, he is. But once you learn how to sidestep, Eddie Gordo is not as threatening as he first seems.
Yeah.
I don't think.
No, I completely agree. But again, we're talking about like Horong and his Taekwondo. Like again, I'd never even heard of capoeira until I saw Eddie Gordo. And again, yeah, what an amazing fighting style that is, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So even like the BBC One, when they go between the programs, there are some people doing those capoeira sort of aerial kicks, and I just every time I see that, I just smile, because I think of Eddie Gordo. Eddie Gordo brought capoeira into the home.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
So again, I mean, you don't, when you go to the old video shop when you're a kid with your dad, when you when you finish work on a Friday, go, pick a martial arts movie. Well, in my case, it was. There weren't any capoeira films.
No.
And if it was, it was weird as hell. I can't. I'm sure there are. I apologise to anyone who's a big fan of whatever capoeira series is out there. Maybe it's big in Brazil.
Yeah.
But
I do wonder that. Like, I feel I'm being proper ignorant when I say it, but I do wonder if there is capoeira like movie trilogies out there that we just don't know about. You know,
there must be like the Brazilian remake of The Raid.
Yeah,
but they're all dancing.
Yeah. If there is, anyone watching or listening to this, if you know of it, please tell us. I want to know.
I would love to know. Absolutely love to know.
Oh, amazing. Okay, so Eddie Gordo and Tiger, where are we putting them?
Good.
Good. Yeah.
Smack bang in the middle. They're good. They're not great, but I think they're relatively solid characters.
Okay. Yeah. I think I might. Oh, I'm between good and great. I think personally. But,
I would, but I'm basing them on the Tekken 3 version, not kind of what he is now, because he is an absolute. He potentially could be an absolute world beater now. So I'd say he was good, but again, he is very frustrating to play against for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. Okay. I'm waiting for it. I've been waiting for it. Paul Phoenix. Here we go.
Right.
Here we go.
Right, okay. I'm just going to put this out there first. I'm not a Paul fan.
No, I didn't think you would be. I just knew you weren't, you know.
And the reason for it is, I mean, at the moment in Tekken 8 is the most broken character in Tekken 8 by far. And he was to a degree in 7. Why? Because his Paul has always been OP. That he can, with very little input, pull off single hit moves that cause devastating amounts of damage. And for me, it's just, yes, there is a degree of finesse. Yes, Paul in the modern one, even back in Tekken 3, combos incredibly well.
Yeah.
But he's unbalanced. Paul Phoenix is one of those characters who, and they've never fixed it, even from Tekken 2, has the ability to hit a prone character with a mid to high attack.
Yeah.
And I hate that. He does that one where he kind of throws an elbow out.
Yes.
And the amount of times, even on Tekken 8, I've been lying on the floor and I've been hit by a high elbow to the face. And I'm like, come on, guys, just fix it. Paul Phoenix is a huge fan favourite.
Yeah.
He's one of Namco's best boys. He's not the best boy. And for the same reason, I will come to why they have these stupid disadvantages in the modern game. But we're talking about Tekken 3 here. Now, Paul, again, very, very good character to, if you like hitting people 4 times and winning, and that's it. I didn't find that, like, if you compare the finesse of a Harang or a Law to Paul, was particularly fair. He's all big hits, and a big hit character is a top heavy Kuma Jack.
Yes.
His damage output is of that, but his speed is almost of a Harang or a Law.
Yeah.
And that makes him a sweat, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of Paul. I recognise his place in the series. You can always spot that as well, because if you see people maining online, who are they always going to main as? Is the characters that they like? No, it's the characters they know they have the distinct advantages over. And for me, Paul Phoenix has always carried that.
Yeah,
he has always had what I believe, in my opinion, and it's just my opinion. I think you have a totally different opinion. He unfairly gets a lot more damage over the line than he should.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, that has never ever changed. It's almost become like a trope now.
Yes.
That everyone knows that Paul Phoenix has got absolutely hammer fist. I mean, I guess maybe that goes in with his character, but I think he should be more easily punished. I mean, I want to say punished, like with block and punish sort of thing.
Yeah.
That his frame wind up is far too small for someone who generates that much power.
Yeah.
Usually the trade-off is, if you deal that much damage, the trade-off is your frame advantage is trash.
Mm-hmm.
And they never, ever, ever did that to Paul.
Yeah.
Unlike another wonderful character who's amazing 3 and is terrible now, but we will come to him.
Oh, but no, I completely agree with what you're saying, and those are the reasons why I like playing as Paul. I love those medium to high, kind of powerful but not too slow and sluggish characters. Like, Brian is my main, but Paul tends to be like. By the way, can I just say I love team battle mode? Like, why don't they bring it back? I used to love playing as 8v8, man. It's like it's probably my favorite way to play Tekken. Hot take. Why have they got rid of it? Because then you do get experimenting with up to 8 characters, and then you tend to have like an 8 main almost, and like Paul would probably be in like my 4th or 5th slot type of thing, and would cause some issues, So
yeah, your ringer is always number 8.
Yes,
just in case you get into dire straits.
Yes,
what I say his Law's number 8 usually. So
yeah.
Yeah, team battle was brilliant.
Yeah,
and again, it seems to be a mode lost to yesteryear. Yeah. I think that it's reserved only kind of for the tag kind of fighters.
Yeah. Can you imagine playing team battle online with someone though? That'd be epic.
I'd love it.
It'd be so good.
In Tekken 8, you can play Tekken Ball online.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right then. So your tier list. Where you putting Paul? Okay.
My general bias aside, I'm looking at in all things considered. Is a character you can play as. He's easy to pick up. He deals a lot of damage. But because of the disadvantages, I'm going to put him as good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is probably one higher than you probably thought I was going to go.
It is, yeah. And it's one lower where I'd put it. I don't think I can quite put him as King of Iron Fist, but I do think he's great. But yeah. I think that's a nice compromise, that, yeah.
I think he's a good character. I just hate him.
Full stop.
Like when when you recognise someone is good at something, but you don't like them. Like Man United. In the 90s, I recognise a good team. I just hated them.
Yeah.
It's just like it's the same. It's the same kind of thing. Yeah, Paul Phoenix is the Man United of Tekken.
I was about to say that. Put it on a T-shirt. Paul Phoenix is the Man United of Tekken.
Yeah. No disrespect to Man United, but in the 90s, I hated them.
Yeah. Oh, so good. That's so good. But you know what? I feel that way about this next character, King. I'm not a King guy. But oh my god, I respect the heck out of people who play as him, and I'm sure, yeah. Go on, tell us your take. Go on.
Again, until Tekken 8, King's decline after Tekken 3 was huge. He basically was King. I always said Tekken 3 King was what I would call perfect King. He was exactly what you'd expect as a good wrestling character. When I say good wrestling character, I don't mean Zangief. I mean a proper wrestling character who can just mix it up with brawling. King, I thought, was his moveset lent itself more to learning the chain grapple. Same way with Nina, but with one huge difference over Nina. King had lots of kind of startup frames that get him ready for the grapple. Like he'd have a sidestep into a duck, which would start the chain grapple. Yeah, I mean, it was absolute, a quick time event button pressing to get them off, which I think I put a video up once, I might have been on Instagram, proving that I could still do the input from Tekken 3 in Tekken 7. I did it in an actual match in Tekken 7.
Nice.
I could still do the chain grapple, which ended up in the giant swing.
Yeah, yeah.
He's oversimplified in 8 because instead of that, you just press Y now at the right time. You don't have to go square, triangle, square, triangle, X and circle. You just press Y at the right time. You press X or Y, and that depends whether it goes into the muscle buster or the giant swing.
Mm-hmm.
So for that reason, everyone on Twitter is screaming for King to get nerfed. And there are certain elements in Tekken 8 I do agree King probably should get nerfed, but my god, King is the character in Tekken 8 I've annoyed the most people online with, because I know I know how to get under their skin.
Yeah.
So, and that's because I grew up with Tekken 3 version of King.
Yeah.
Again, he was one of those characters that people would storm off. Once I got that initial grab on, people would roll it down.
That's me.
Because there's no point. There's just no point.
Yeah, just go, fuck it.
I can't believe it. And I was like, okay, and I accept that the damage output on a full five phase chain grapple is devastating.
Yeah.
But what I will emphasize is the amount of practice and timing.
Yes.
And muscle memory required to do that is, you know how like a concert pianist, when you go see like a concert pianist, they don't have sheet music.
No.
They just get up there and they just play Handel's Messiah, or they just play Liszt's Hungarian Rhapsody without sheet music. Why? Because they've got the muscle memory. They put the time in, they put the practice in, and I think that is what is missing from modern Tekken. The people who put the time aside to lab, to learn the moves, to get the timing, the muscle memory, is lost because we're all about quick wins.
Yeah.
And I think that is where I suppose the Tekken 3 versus the modern Tekkens are very, very different games now.
Mm-hmm.
King is an absolute avatar of the old way, which was learning, practicing, and then frustrating the hell out of your mates once you had mastered a 5-phase chain grapple. The problem with King is, if you don't land that grapple, you are a big lump.
Yeah, basically.
With a big frame startup, and you are at the behest. I mean, he has some good, powerful moves. Like he had this sort of Diesel big boot style moves, didn't he? And he had like that one where he does the multiple low kicks.
Yeah.
Which is again a good way of losing friends, of saying you're spamming move. But that is one move.
Yeah.
But it wasn't just the chain grapples. King had a lot of individual grapples, like a tornado DDT or a Hurricane Rana or a Frankenstein, or he had like the big suplexes, which I think what I tried to do once, I tried to do as many as I could in one shot on Tekken 8, or do as many wrestling moves as possible, and all because I was mucking around one night playing, and I accidentally pressed a button, and I didn't realise in Tekken 8 King's got a pedigree. And that was one of the most basic things I've ever seen. King
crazy.
Was the pedigree. And I was like, and a tombstone. And an Olympic slam. Sorry, an angle slam, they called it eventually. But yeah, he does Kurt Angle's finisher, Triple H's finisher. And
in Tekken 8?
In Tekken 8. And
so
I was
cool.
screaming at the screen going, what is the one thing he's missing? Well, two things he's missing. He doesn't have a choke slam, and he doesn't have the crippler crossface. And then I found Nina in Tekken 8 has a crippler crossface.
Oh, okay, right. Excellent. That's so cool.
Again, I think King's one of those ones. If you think about the time when Tekken 8 came out, the era of WWE, it was still WWF back then, actually. It wasn't even changed to WWE. That was one of the best eras of wrestling.
Yes, it was, yeah.
The Attitude Era with Stone Cold Steve. I mean, actually, no, he doesn't have a stunner, actually. King doesn't have a stunner, but he should do. That era of wrestling was so good. Does that coincide with the fact that Tekken 3 version King was probably the best version of King? I don't know. One of life's greatest mysteries, I think.
Yeah. But you mentioned the Muscle Buster. Like I remember seeing King do the Muscle Buster, and I used again. You mentioned wrestling. Like I used to SmackDown games. I remember seeing the Muscle Buster in both those games and going, "That's my favorite finisher." Why don't people use the finisher? And then Samoa Joe came along.
Yeah.
I was like, that's my boy.
Any move that just massively compresses someone's spine is dangerous as hell.
Brutal, isn't it? I mean, obviously Samoa Joe in real life doesn't do it the way King fucking does it. It breaks them in half, wouldn't it?
Well, he does it in the Enbu series in the beginning bit of, if you let Tekken 3 roll on, it did the bit where they're doing the katas.
Yes, yeah.
And right at the end, King does like the world's largest muscle buster.
Yeah.
It's like if Iron Man did it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Like, and you think, you wouldn't have a spine afterwards.
No.
If it was, it would fit in a small box.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
It just looks like the most devastating thing of all time.
It was, and it looks better than Giant Swing. I mean, in Giant Swing, that's Cesaro, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Tekken 9, he's going to do 100 giant swings. He's got to keep pressing a certain button combination to keep it going.
Oh my god, how much rage quitting would happen if that was a thing? Yeah. Could you imagine the amount of rage quits that would just occur just because you just keep perpetuating the giant swing?
Yeah, 21, 22, 20. Oh, it'd be so funny. We can't not talk about King without talking about his amazing and iconic fit, can I say? I might need to cosplay that as one day. It's iconic.
You know what? I think Namco in their store released the alt outfit for King, where he has those purple tracksuit with the leopard print, the snow leopard print on the side.
Yeah,
they sell it now.
Oh,
those tracksuit bottoms are so popular that you can actually buy them now.
That's insane.
Because he had that alt outfit with the purple t-shirt, those tracky bottoms, and the white trainers, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, goodness.
I mean, it's iconic.
Right, where are we going? Where's King going?
I want to put him in great, but my heart and my head are in conflict, and I believe he should only be a good.
Really? I thought you were
going to put him in great. The reason for that is if you do not land that initial chain grapple, you're vulnerable.
Okay.
And you can't just rely on the big hits.
That's fair.
Because of the frame wind up, you'll be too exposed. And against a fast character, if you don't get that grapple, you're brown bread.
That's fair. That's completely fair. Okay. There's only 2 mains left, as in original characters.
Yep.
So which one is it? Who's next?
It's got to be Jin next, surely.
It's not. No, apparently according to this is Lei. I don't know. Maybe I've got it wrong.
That's all right. No, like I said, it was an exam, was it? Lei Wulong, or Jackie Chan to everyone else, because he was so obviously Jackie Chan.
Obviously.
I think Lei's great. I think Lei's a really, really, really good character. Again, he's a character who is very, very easy to frustrate people with. He's got good flow to him, but he's very, very niche.
Yeah.
And the reason I say he's niche is he was the first character I really noticed, certainly in Tekken, to do stances.
Yeah.
The stance you were in, I mean, because he goes for the kung fu stances, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Depending on the stance you're in, depends on what attacks you have available to you. Now, there's better flow when he got released as DLC character in Tekken 7. If we talk about Tekken 3, he is a nightmare to learn. He is so difficult when you're first learning the game that you'll be easily put off Lei Wulong. Easily.
Yeah.
I persisted because I'm a huge Jackie Chan fan. But I don't know. I just think when done well, and there was a lad who went to my uni who was a Lei player, and he was untouchable. You couldn't get anywhere near him.
Oh, God.
Just knew exactly how to lie down, roll away, do that falling tree attack, and then knock you up for that juggle, that disco spin kick. And he was devastating in the right hands. But if someone to learn, you've got to invest a lot of time to become what I believe to be a decent Tekken 3 Lei player.
Yeah.
But he's solid in terms of his balance, but to get good as him takes more investment than the average character. Is what I would say.
Yeah, I agree. He tends to be, when we play against Team Battle Mode, he tends to be one of the characters that tends to put, like you said, either first or second, because I'm not strong with him, but I'm capable. I'm a capable Lei player, but I'm no master, because it's so hard to learn. You can get some good combos in, and can frustrate you a little bit, but yeah, not do. Yeah, if you're really good, then yeah, you'll probably get quite sussed out quite quickly. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think he's a good character. He's fun to play as, but difficult to master. Is how I would say.
So where's he going?
I want to put him in good, but for the same reason I put Nina in okay because she was difficult to master. Do I put Lei in the same? No. I'm going to put him in good because the reason for that is Lei's kind of base attacks, excluding the stances, are good enough for it to carry you through.
Yeah.
And to comfortably beat Ogre with Lei more so than you would with Nina, because Nina didn't have the flow that Lei did.
Yeah,
even though
I completely agree with that, actually. Yeah.
I put him as good.
All right, then. So it's the poster boy next.
It's Namco's best boy. Now, I'm again trying to base it solely on Tekken 3 Jin Kazama.
Let's not talk about Tekken 4 Jin.
I don't want to talk about any Jin Kazamas because, I mean, I know you haven't played Tekken 8 yet, and I don't want to put any spoilers, but if you're like me and you're not a huge Jin fan, if you do the story, episodic story, you will be sick of Jin.
Okay.
By the end of it.
Okay.
And I mean proper sick of him.
Okay.
There's too much of him. He's overexposed. I understand that he's evolved to be what is essentially the Ryu of Tekken. When I say that, I mean like what Ryu is to Street Fighter is what Jin has become. The whole Jin Kazuya dynamic in Tekken. But again, I'm not a fan.
No.
I am not a fan of Jin Kazama. He is the ultimate whiffer. Because he has such a short frame wind up, he can knock you out of most moves. He's very fluid, but he's not what I would call a beginner character. He takes a bit of practice to get good at. In the same way that Kazuya was a nightmare to learn in Tekken 2. I do think that because of the poster boy status, again, he, like Paul Phoenix, has so many advantages that the others don't, and I feel that to be quite unmerited. That being said, he's a very, very solid character. I just don't find him as fluid as a Law or Hwang or even an Eddie. That, yes, in modern Tekken, Jin, you'll see people pulling out 14-hit juggle combos. Yeah, of course they will, and most of them you can do it by pressing one button. Congratulations, that's skill. But Tekken 3 Jin, very good character, but good for not the right reasons, is my opinion. I don't. Yeah. Yes, his uppercut, that lightning uppercut thing, which Kazuya had. Yes, you had to do that forward, take a pause, and then do a fireball motion to do that before hitting square. Yes, that took expert timing. It was amazing when you pulled it off. And he's not a beginner character.
No,
he's not a beginner character because he's the poster boy, but he's not the easiest character to play as. It's like you ever played like Virtua Fighter, for example. Akira Yuki is the poster boy, the main character. Akira is probably the hardest character to learn.
Yeah.
In Virtua Fighter, and I think Jin falls into the same category.
Yeah.
Very difficult to master, but when he's devastating.
Yeah, it's the opposite of Ryu in that respect, isn't it? Like Ryu is pretty easy to kind of get your head around.
Yeah, once you learn a fireball, that's it.
Yeah,
it's just a torrent of blue.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah, no, you're right. I completely agree with you. Like, I mean, Jin at one point was my main, and then Devil Jin because of the separation of the two. Like I said, I hate what they did to Jin in Tekken 4, and I was so happy when they started to create Devil Jin for his old moveset. But yeah, with Tekken 3, like he became my main after a while. Like I went through all the characters, and he was one of the last ones to really for me to master. And then when I finally started to get it with him, I was like, right, I get it now. Over time, he's become less so. I don't know why. Maybe it was because of the whole Devil Jin thing. I don't know. But yeah, he's not easy. He isn't. It's weird.
Jin's one of those ones. I never mastered it. I like to think I got to a level of competency with all the Tekken 3 characters, and it was sort of like, okay, well, I've kind of got to that level with Jin, and I'm like, I still don't like him.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, you know what? I mean, I can probably hold my own playing as a Jin. I still don't like him. So it's not like I never gave him a fair crack at the whip. I really did.
Yeah.
I just couldn't get on board with him. But that again, that you can argue that's more personal bias rather than playability. But again, he's not a beginner character. As someone new to the Tekken series playing Tekken 3 for the first time, is going to get slaughtered if they keep going Jin.
Yeah.
You've got to practice with him.
All right, so where is he going to go?
I'm going to put him. Everyone, if you were to ask, do a straw poll of all the gamers that we know, everyone would put him as Iron Fist or Great. I'm struggling to put him in good.
Oh, wow.
For the same reason that I basically slaughtered Nina. He's okay.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
I think that's your hottest take so far, you know.
That will upset people because of the popularity. But then again, it's karma because I know I said I'm basing it on the way they play in Tekken 3. He is so unbalanced and overpowered in Tekken 8 that we need the karmic balance of the universe requires Jin Kazama in this tier list to go in okay.
Oh, amazing. Okay. Wow, this podcast is flying, by the way. Maybe as we're going into the unlockables, let's try to be a bit snappier.
We'll race through the next. All right.
Kuma and Panda then. Where are we putting those?
Kuma and Panda are hilarious. They're a bit they're comedy characters. They hit very hard, but you try and kick with them, you can't hit anything. They're too small. They're good in modern Tekken now because they gave him a bit more balance. Kuma in modern Tekken, they based his moves a lot more on Heihachi, which is incredible.
It's crazy. However, yeah, remember that.
However, back then they're all big hits. If you swing and miss because they sidestep, you are literally a very, very, very large target.
Yeah. And
you're going to get pummeled. Tekken 7, Kuma and Panda were great. Tekken 3, big hitbox to get slapped.
Yep.
That's a chicken. That's a chicken.
A chicken. We got our first chicken.
I like them.
Yeah.
But they're a chicken.
Julia Chang.
Very, very underrated character.
Yeah.
Michelle Chang has always been a staple and has been thrown to the wayside by the virtue of the fact Tekken 8 is the first Tekken to not have a Chang on base roster.
Oh, man, really?
She wasn't base on 7. She was DLC in 7. So, but again, Michelle is the one character from Tekken 1 and 2 no one ever talks about, and I don't understand why. She's great. Julia is equally great. Very fluid, very fast fighter, my kind of fighter. Complete. I love Julia Chang. I think Julia Chang she's everything which I like in a character now. The way I would play, if I was to play Tekken 3 for the first time with the way that I play games now, Julia would be one of my go-tos. And going back to 3, if I play it now, yes, I do gravitate towards Julia.
Nice.
And I'll tell you what, if you ever play Street Fighter Cross Tekken, Julia Chang is unbelievably good in that.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Street Fighter Cross Tekken is so good.
I need to play it. Yeah.
It's a Street Fighter game with Tekken characters in it. It's so good.
I was begging for them to do the opposite, but obviously went to development hell, didn't it? So.
Yeah, and they shoved a Kuma in base roster in Tekken 7, and he doesn't belong there.
No
fireballs in Tekken. Tekken doesn't need fireballs. I could just about get a whole Devil's Head laser thing, or Ogre's fire attack thing, but no, fireballs don't belong in Tekken.
All right, where are you gonna put Julia?
She's great for me.
Great
for me. She is everything. I'm not saying she is without weakness. She is, but she's a fantastic character.
Okay, Gunjack.
What did I say about big hitboxes, big lazy hitboxes? Again, this is the one time that the Jack characters weren't kind of straight off the bat, which was weird because Jack was always a base roster character. Yeah. The fact they didn't call him Jack 3.
Yeah, Gunjack.
They made Gunjack. Yeah, he's got some gimmicky moves that he can fly up in the air and do some M. Bison head stomp thing. He's very quick. He's very powerful in the hit, especially when he does the double punch moves. His entire arsenal is kind of built around one big hit to send you flying.
I love that stomp. If
when you land it, opponent feels like such a berg.
Yeah. They get really flustered, don't they? They get like, oh shit, oh, what do I do? And then obviously some know how to defend it, but if they don't, they are just a sitting duck.
They go forwards or backwards, and then that's when you deploy it. Just sidestep it.
Yeah, but you didn't go, oh no.
Yeah, you just panic and then try and you double tap back, and then you just press the circle again to fly another hop.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he's a bit of a gimmick. I think, again, yes, he's got a lot of power, but my God, his frame startup is so bad. That if you miss with his big hits, you are left so open.
Yeah.
That being said, is he a terrible character? He's not terrible. I'm only putting him as a chicken because of that stupid Cossack dance.
I was going to think about putting him in there, okay.
He should be an okay, but the Cossack dance annoys me. No, all right, no, you're right. No, he's an okay character. He's not a chicken.
You sure?
He isn't as left open as Kuma and Panda are.
He's a step up, isn't he? Yeah.
He is a step up. He is definitely a step up. But if you know, a good Gunjack player versus a good Harang player,
yeah,
wouldn't they?
So, we might need to do that, you know. We might need to do that. We might need to get the world's best player of Horang, world's best player versus Law, and see who actually comes out on top. That'll be interesting.
Evo this time of year always throws up some surprises. Like I've seen Kuma win Evo, not Kuma, Panda. I've seen the Panda. Honestly, I've seen the Panda win Evo before.
That's mental.
Anything's possible in the hands of a master. Anyone is a deadly weapon.
Okay.
That's to be a second. Technically speaking, no one's a bad character. This is personal preference.
It is, yeah. So, unless we're talking about maybe this one, we've got Mokujin.
Now, Mokujin, he doesn't count really because he copies everyone.
Yeah.
Because depending if Mokujin copies Hrang, he's a worldie.
Yeah.
If Mokujin copies Boskonovich, he's a turkey.
Can he? I don't think he can play Boskonovich, can he? Or Gon?
Yes, he
can.
He can. No, he can't do Gon. He can't do Gon, but he can do Boskonovich.
Oh, really?
And then you spend the rest of the round lying on the floor.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you round one, like, oh, fuck.
I just like it when Mokujin does a Nina, or a Julia, or a Xiaoyu, because suddenly he's got boobs.
Yeah.
And a skirt. The bottom of his trunk kind of wicks out, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It's just...
I just love the ending, Mokujin's ending as well, with the Mama Mokujin.
Yeah. Blimey.
The uppercut. Oh, it's so funny.
I can't remember which Tekken it is, though, but he meets Mrs. Mokujin on an escalator and tries to give her a flower. I think it might be Tekken 4.
Maybe.
I think that's Tekken 4. But I just have this image of Mokujin on an escalator.
Yeah. Oh,
but we haven't seen Mokujin... Wow. Well, actually, when was it? Well, tag games aside... Yeah, he only really plays in tag games. I think he was a joke character, wasn't he?
Yeah. Wasn't it Combat or Combat, was it?
Yeah, Combat. Oof. Combat was Tekken Tag 2. But they also had they had a metal Mokujin in Tekken 4, didn't they, as well? Tetsujin.
Yeah. Yes, they did. Yeah.
Okay. Which you can get skin for your avatar. Now, to be fair, he could be anyone, so we're going to have to put him bang in the middle.
Yeah, and good.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm not saying he's a good character, but it depends who he emulates.
Yeah, it's true. So. Okay, then we got Anna Williams.
Anna basically is a slightly jankier Nina.
Yeah.
You know, if you struggle playing as Nina, you struggle playing as Anna.
Yeah.
If you did well as Nina, you do well as Anna. I'm hard to tell them apart from their attire.
Yeah. I'll confess here. I was my teenage years with Anna. Yeah, definitely fancied the absolute pants off her. And therefore, therefore, I was like, "Oh, she's the better character. She's great." And over time, it's like, "No, she's really not. She's really quite shit, in my opinion. I can't play as Anna. I've tried, apart from the flip kick, obviously, which is obviously vastly better with Law anyway.
But she had a more cut down moves list compared to Nina.
Yeah, there's not a lot of work she's got to work with, to be fair.
Yeah. So I never saw the point of Anna Williams. I mean, they differentiate them greatly now. Yeah. Tekken 7 Anna Williams is totally different. For a start, she has a rocket launcher. So yeah, exactly. She plays totally different to Nina now in modern in Tekken 7. So which I'm glad they kind of gave them their own style. And she is stunning in Tekken 7 as well with her Fascinator. She's just like class. She's class. She's really, really good character in 7. Absolute trash in Tekken 3 though.
Yeah.
Absolute trash.
Chicken?
Chicken her.
Chicken. There we go. Sorry,
She's
Anna.
Nina without the characters.
Love you,
Nina
Anna.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, exactly. She goes. She obviously buys her clothes in the same shop as Ada Wong.
Yes.
So,
oh, all right. My main. We got Brian Fury.
Brian Fury, the best character probably in Tekken 3. He's a kind of a modern kickboxing style, you know. Exactly. I mean, was there a kickboxer in Tekken 3? I always wondered.
Bruce, wasn't it?
There was always a kickboxer. Bruce was in 2.
Yeah.
You know, and in 4 and 5. Well, 4 and 6. I can't remember who was in. If he was. Oh, he was in 5. Yeah, he was in 5. They obviously put Farkham Ram in 7. And I also thought, well, there was no kickboxer 3. And then you look at the way Brian fights. Brian is a kickboxer. But he's what? He's not a Thai kickboxer. He's what did Hayabusa call it? A Dutch style kickboxer, I believe he is.
Oh, okay.
I don't know a lot about kickboxing, whereas Hayabusa trained in it, so that's why he lets me know these things. Brian was the perfect combination of speed and brutality.
Yeah.
He was quick, but he didn't have that air of bullshit that Paul Phoenix had.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Phoenix's damage output is what Brian should have been if you do it, because Brian was really good because he could play evasive. You could play defensive with Brian, and Brian on the counter was absolutely devastating.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you compare the big hits, like Paul Phoenix's one, they're pretty much the same. It's like forward triangle, whereas Brian's one had that wind up, and it was really good and satisfying to do in the end. Whereas Paul's one was like an RKO; it could come out of nowhere, and it was like, "Whoa, I didn't even see you go for the move."
Mm-hmm.
Next thing you know, screen. Brian's one, yes, it was more telegraphed, but you still couldn't stop it at times.
Yeah.
And he had like moves like down towards triangle. He had the forward X kick. Brian was absolutely brilliant character, and got nerfed in Tekken 4 and never ever recovered. Brian now, as good as he is, isn't Tekken 3 Brian. And Tekken 3 Brian, I absolutely love Tekken 3 Brian.
Yeah,
because he's so fun to play as.
Yeah.
He was satisfying to play as. And I know we're going to try and hide this up. For me, he's an Iron Fist.
Yeah, completely agree.
Not just because it's your line, but because I think Brian Fury I love Brian Fury.
Yeah, same. He's always been my main. Just talking about moves, I just love that move.
Or if you catch them on the counter and then you slam on the other side. Yeah.
Oh, when I first saw that, like when it was in practice mode on Tekken 3, I was like, oh, I had a new favorite main just from that move, you know.
Well, if you do it, if you get the timing right and they do it and they bounce up, you can juggle them then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Which is borderline unfair. And I mean, it seems weird that for the same reason I punished Paul but bigged up Brian. I know it makes me sound inconsistent, but I don't know. Brian also has the backstory. Brian's backstory is amazing. He's a cyborg.
Yeah.
He's like a messed up version of Wolverine.
Yeah.
Without the claws. But he's insane.
He's absolutely batshit, yeah.
And his ending, he tears the turret off a tank.
Yeah.
And throws it at the Tekken field.
Yeah.
Because why not?
Yeah.
Not only does he just run at a load of people firing automatic weapons at him,
yeah,
he then vaults over them, tears the top of a tank and throws it at them.
Yeah.
And then that explodes because that would totally happen. To which then he laughs maniacally in the fire and carnage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Classic.
Cool guy.
It's, you know what? When you just say it like that, it's so edgy 90s, isn't it?
Brian's Tekken 8 ending is basically Mad Max. He's basically a Morton Joe.
Okay.
Amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we need a Heihachi.
Heihachi. Devastating character. Damage output is crazy, but you expect that. He is. I mean, he's nearest damn at the final boss. Well, he's not the final boss.
Yeah,
but he always was. He always was the final boss in Tekken 1, wasn't he? He was the final guy in Tekken 1, and then Tekken 2 he disappeared. Tekken 3, no, was he in Tekken 2? Yes, he was in Tekken 2.
Yeah, I think he was penultimate in Tekken 2 as well, wasn't he?
He was base roster in Tekken 2 because, well, he's on the front cover, isn't he? Yeah, pretty sure. Yeah, there he is, front and center.
Yeah.
There he is. Heihashi's a good character. He's his moves. I mean, he's more fluid than Jin is. He's easier to pick up with like his devil axe or and the demon paws. And he's got that hammer arm. Very good character. Stone head. Yeah, he's a really good character. He's probably more jank than he looks that he should be. Again, he does require a little bit of practice. But when you get Heihachi right, which doesn't take nearly as much time as it does to learn Jin, it's very satisfying.
Totally.
I think.
And
I think he's a very.
Sorry, yeah, just going back what you mentioned before about the Kazuya, the Mishimas. Like, he is the most accessible Mishima in my opinion. Like, more so than Kazuya, than Jin. He's by far the easiest to pick up and give a go, I'd say.
In these days, yes, not anymore.
Oh,
because
okay.
now it's Lars.
yeah, fair.
Now it's Lars. But yeah, I think Heihachi Mishima, for what he stands for the series, is. I don't like it where they tried to make Kazuya the main bad guy. Heihachi was a better bad guy than Kazuya ever was.
Yeah. Because
he had that air of evil about him. I mean, the guy died 3 times, for goodness sake. He died more times than Vegeta.
Yeah, I love that element of Heihachi though, because he is far more evil, and mostly one thing that makes him the most evil is the fact that he has technically got humanity, whereas in the others there is that Devil Jin type of well Devil Gene even type of okay, is it their fault? Is it just bad genetics and all that stuff? He's completely unhinged.
Heihashi's just a man though, isn't he? He's very well trained, but he's human.
Yeah,
he just happens to be very rich. Yeah. And has a fetish for throwing people off mountains.
Yeah. Sorry, just that meme of if I've been thrown off a volcano into a volcano once, twice, if I had a nickel for every time that's happened, I would have 2 nickels.
Exactly. I think Heihachi has his place, and he is exactly that. He's the archetypal personification of evil intent because of ambition.
Yeah.
Which makes a good villain.
Yep.
Now, I love a good villain. I think a series of anything, whether it's a TV show or a video game, the success of the storyline is based on how good the villain is. Everyone always goes on about the heroes. We can get some absolute dishwater heroes, but they get carried by a good villain.
Yep.
I mean, I'm looking like the Far Cry games, for example. The Far Cry games are amazing pieces of storytelling because the villains are so psychotically insane that they kind of sound right. And then you start questioning your own moral compass, which is what the Far Cry series has always done incredibly well. But again, that's good storytelling because of a good villain.
Yeah.
If you talk about iconic villains, Sephiroth is one of the best villains ever. Why? Because everything about him is amazing. He's got that aura about him. He's got the backstory. And I always say the best villains are the ones who you sit there and go, you know what? They might have a point. I mean, not so much Sephiroth thinks of destroying the Earth with a meteorite, apart from that bit.
Yeah.
But the way he arrived there, you'd think, he's got a point.
The story behind it. Yeah.
And I think the same for Heihachi. I think Heihachi, his thirst for strength in creating the King of Iron Fist tournaments makes him just a very almost iconic character.
Yeah.
But is he an Iron Fist?
Yes.
No, he's a great, I think.
Yeah.
I think he's a great.
I agree. Yeah.
There's not many Heihachi mains out there, I don't feel.
It's funny, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it's because they made him more of a joke character as time went on.
Maybe.
But back then he was essentially, from the human part, the big evil, wasn't he?
Okay, we got Ogre. Obviously, we're separating Ogre and True Ogre here.
So we're going to go for Ancient Ogre, the Green Ogre first.
Yeah.
Very, very powerful. Interesting moveset.
Yeah.
Very difficult to get your head around. But in the hands of a master, absolutely bloody devastating.
Yeah. What I like about what I like about Ogre compared to True Ogre is the hitbox, because the True Ogre hitbox is just ridiculous, isn't it? So therefore, you got about 80% of the moves are kind of similar, but the hitbox is much smaller. Yeah,
but Ancient Ogre, I mean, I term the Green Ogre as Ancient Ogre, which I didn't realise is pretty much one of the pillar men from JoJo. He really is. But he's once you get a hang of him, he's actually a very good character to play as. You know, he's no worldie. You're not going to win many tournaments as Ancient Ogre, but he's very satisfying to play as, and he kind of lends styles from lots of the other characters. He's kind of like, not like the way Mokujin just mimics them for that one round. He'll take a move from Law, a move from Nina, a move from Jin, and make one of his own. And I think he's actually quite an underrated character because people just know him as the end boss for one round.
Yeah.
Well, you win that round. But I think to play as, he's actually quite underrated. He's a bit jank, a bit niche, but done right, he's pretty good.
Yeah, I really like Ogre. Personally, I completely agree with what you said there. And I wished there was a way to kind of keep him in the series, but obviously for storyline reasons you can't really, can you?
Games.
Yeah. Yeah. Apart from Tekken Tag Tournament too.
He's not in Tag 2. I don't mind him in Tag 2.
Okay, so where's he going?
I think he's a good character.
Good. Okay.
He's a good character.
Okay.
His final form, however.
True Ogre. That's what's next. Yep.
His final form. You know that whole trope that they do in sci-fi, and they go, "Ha ha ha! This is my true form."
Yeah.
And then they transform again, and or it's like how many times did Frieza do it in Dragon Ball? I think he did it twice. That this isn't what I normally look like. Then he kind of goes a bit big.
Yeah.
This is not true form. And I was like, oh, for crying out loud! This is a sci-fi trope. True Ogre, yes, he's meant to be the final boss. And let's be honest, if you played 2-player and one of you was True Ogre, it was all about flying in the air and blowing fire at people, wasn't it?
Yeah. But I like the ground fire more. It wasted more damage.
Yeah, I mean, you can duck that one, whereas you had to sidestep the fire one.
Yeah,
it's just because you can press 2 punch buttons and you just fly up.
Yeah.
That's why people use it. And it was just... I mean, as a character, you take the fire moves out of it and he's terrible.
Yeah.
Yes, he's got the reach for that when his arm's a snake and he's got that venom where he sticks it out and then it poisons them. Yeah, that's great. That's about it.
Yeah.
Yes, he has double axle kick, but
I like the floor counter dive attack as well. Again, that's really hard to pull off successfully, but I love that as well.
Again, that is down to timing, but he was there to be the big monster to fight at the end because, I mean, up until that point, the only Tekken bosses we had, like Tekken 1 and Tekken 2, were people, or in Tekken 2's case, Devil and Angel. And then with True Ogre, they kind of up the ante a bit and go, now they're not just a human character with wings. No, we're going to have the Balrog from Lord of the Rings. Even down to the fire bat. The only thing he was missing was a flaming sword and a whip. That was it.
Yeah.
I did think his design was worse than Ancient Ogre.
Yeah.
I mean, Ancient Ogre had that kind of mysterious, almost frightening aura about him. And it's like with a horror film. A horror film is scarier if you don't see the thing that's chasing you.
Yeah.
It isn't you show the thing that's chasing you. Your brain rationalizes it, and to some degree ends up mocking it. And then it's not scary. Like the film Darkness Falls, the one about the Tooth Fairy.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole lore behind it was terrifying. Then you saw the Tooth Fairy, and it just looked like Joey Jordison from Slipknot. Or Mama. When you see the Mama, it looked like a sweet potato, and it ceased being frightening at that point.
Yeah.
So, and I think True Ogre falls into that category that when you see it, you go, "That's its final form." It just kind of looks like a weird bat moth.
Yeah. Very odd. Although I do like the FMV way it transforms, though. That was, I mean, for 1998, the graphics was like, oh my god.
Oh, the FMV was incredible.
Yeah.
But then when it turns all pixelated and blocky headed, you're like, it lost its luster a little bit, and he's just very cheap. He's a typical final boss because a final boss has cheap moves. And it's there to create difficulty, even though it is ridiculously unbalanced and unfair. But, I mean, if I do it on its merits alone, to play as is horrible to play as. It's not fun to play as, I think. No. It's fun to annoy someone who's never played it before just by setting them on fire.
Yeah.
But when the novelty of that wears out, what are you left with? Not a great deal.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just knowing obviously the way these characters are going, this is going to peter out so badly.
So where's it going? Where's it going? So if Ancient Ogre is good,
he's in okay. No, I would say, to be fair to him. Okay, Johnny, can we change it up a bit? I'd put him as a chicken. Can we move Kuma to an okay, please? Because I don't believe he's better than Kuma.
Oh my god.
Kuma gets promoted. He goes as a chicken.
I don't agree. I don't think he's that bad, but it's your list, man. It's your list. So we got Anna and True Ogre and chicken. I love that.
Oh, they're going to have company soon, don't you worry.
Okay, last two then. So we got Gon.
Right, Gon was a manga. Gon was technically the first guest character.
Yes.
I didn't know this, and there was a lad in my school who brought in the actual manga.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and there's no dialogue in it because it's a dinosaur. It is literally all action, and he's just running after an egg and running away from things. Yes, he's kind of amusing. And when people who've played Tekken 3, who've played as Gon, if you say name a move Gon does, what are you going to say? You're going to say back and circle, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, a very visible fart.
Yeah, very visible.
But he's annoying because obviously you can't even hit him with a mid. You can only hit him with a low.
He's fucking useless.
I mean, he's there to annoy people, but the only way you're going to beat Gon consistently is by choosing Eddie.
Yeah, he's
or if
definitely
you get
his
good
weakness.
Sort of flying stomp thing.
Yeah.
Actually, Julia would have a good game because Julia's got a good ground game. Julia would take a Gon.
I like playing with Brian with the low kick. With Brian, with Gon.
Oh, diagonal toward and circle.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would rock him right in the head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gon is just. Did he really need to be there?
No,
Not really.
No.
I don't think he did. He was a bonus. He was an Easter egg. He was if you actually managed to persist at playing Tekken Ball, basically.
Yeah.
So.
Basically, yeah.
But is he a good character? No, he is not.
Is he going?
There's a reason we have never seen him since.
Exactly.
He's definitely a chicken.
Definitely chicken.
He's definitely a chicken. And to be honest, we've got one left to go. Yeah.
Yeah, Boskonovich.
Just put him in chicken now, would you?
No problem. Yeah.
What do we need to say about Boskonovich? He electrocutes himself and he spends the whole time rolling around on the floor. It's like if you selected Neymar in a Tekken game. I was like, but the thing was though, you try and get on your feet and he electrocutes himself, and you're like, he's frustrating to play as. I don't see the point of it. I guess it's a joke.
Yeah.
I get it. It's a joke. Yeah. But I don't want him as a playable character in any versus mode, or even trying to do an arcade mode as Boskonovich.
Yeah.
He's a ridiculous character. He's important to the storyline and the lore of Tekken, but he didn't need to be playable.
No.
Dr. Abel's not playable, so why is Dr. Boskonovich?
Yeah. Yeah, he's useless.
Dr. Abel, who of course created the Jack series. So I'm just that's me nerding out on Tekken lore there, but yeah, that's. Just...
But yeah, well, dude, we've done it. There
we go.
So the
I don't want to go on forever.
I like that. That's a good list, man. So Yoshimitsu, Law, Horang, and Brian, and the King of Iron Fist. Ling Xiaoyu, Julia Chan, and Heihachi, and great. And then chickens, we got Anna, True Ogre. I think that's so harsh, but your opinion, God, and Dr. Boskonovich. Yeah.
Put it this way: with the chickens, if a True Ogre comes up against any of the ones in King of Iron Fist, there's only one winner.
Yeah.
You know, at least the OKs would stand a bit of a chance.
Yeah.
I don't think that the chickens would, and that's kind of the overarching logic that I've used here. Again, as you said, it's my opinion. I'm sure many people will disagree with me. I know tier lists are very contentious subjects.
Yeah.
I get that. And I'm not trying to annoy anyone or something. This is my just personal feelings on it. But rest assured, I've spent many years playing Tekken 3, so I do believe there is a degree of validity and logic to my decisions.
I think you've got great logic here, mate. Honestly, your explanations were spot on. We can yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
that was so much fun.
when Hayabusa and I do the Fight Buddies content, we overanalyze. That's what we do because both of us are very prone to going to the nth degree. I know lots of people who are casual fighting games, they don't want to hear about frame data, frame advantage, block punish, and but I do like things like that, because to understand the game is to make yourself better at it.
Mm-hmm.
You get people who are really into like Formula One, for example. They can talk about a box on the back of a car for 2 hours, whereas I go, isn't it an exhaust?
Yeah.
Because the thing is, I don't have the passion, I don't have the interest for it. Whereas, I like knowing how things work. That's why I do the day job that I do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm an attention to detail guy.
Yeah.
That I notice things like that, and Tekken is something I have analysed at great depth for a very, very, very long time.
Yeah.
That's the conclusions that I drew. So,
Syn, that was amazing. Thank you so much for doing it. One more time, do you want to plug yourself? Where can we find you on your sources? Everyone check out Synyster Graves. Honestly, one of the most underrated people on YouTube. I'm telling you now. Please check him out.
So thank you very much. So as JB mentioned, I've got a YouTube channel which you can find on Synyster Graves Games, or the short one, because now we've got the little @ I just changed it, just shortened it to Syn Game. So youtube.com/@SynGame, you'll find me. Or if you do find goofy content funny, I'm also on Instagram, and I tend to make dumb little shorts on there as well when I'm not pretending I'm singing along to metal songs in my car.
Yes. Syn's carpool karaoke. I love those.
I mean, the amount of times people tell me it's not carpool karaoke, it's a lip sync. I go, I know that. I'm making fun of the fact that James Corden annoys me and never has any good songs.
Yeah.
So so if you like Slipknot, then come check it out.
Yeah. It's good. Oh, Syn, amazing. Thanks so much for being the first guest on Streamers Tears, man.
I am literally honoured that you chose me to be number 1.
Yeah.
I thought being chosen as number 4 for Streamer Stories was an honour. To be number 1, I mean, doesn't mean I'm the greatest. Don't get me wrong, I don't think I'm the greatest. But honestly, to be considered that for this new format, I'm honestly deeply honoured, and I'm massively flattered.
No.
So thank you, Johnny.
No problem, mate. Honestly, well worth it. And on that topic, if you like this and you haven't watched episode 4 of Streamer Stories, Synyster Graves' episode's there. It was from 3 years ago, but it's definitely still worth it to learn more about Syn. He's a great guy, so definitely check it out, guys.
I haven't changed.
It's still the same guy. All right. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye-bye.